Hey, and welcome back to Slick Willy Fly. So today we're gonna make some of these. I'm not gonna call this a pheasant tail nymph, although it's kind of a pheasant tail nymph, but I know that some people go insane. So it's a nymph. It's a nymph that I know catches fish, and let's get in on it. I'm tying a bunch. I have another one here. I'm getting ready to take a little trip with my brother-in-law, and was looking in my box of what I'm missing, and I need to load up on some nymphs. So I'm going to use a trout hook here. It's called a medium trout hook, and it's in size 8 if I can get one out. Been tying a few of these today. I'm going to tie a dozen or so just to be ready for anything. So what I have in my hand here is a little 0.20 lead wire. I'm going to go ahead and give this a couple of wraps because I'm not going to use any kind of a bead, and I want this fly to sink. We're going to be fishing a river and the water is very high, so I'm expecting the river to be moving rapidly, and I want this fly to sink a little. So I just give it a few wraps. I didn't even count the wraps. 6, 7 wraps. Tighten that up. Just about like that. Now I'm going to set it a few millimeters behind the eye because I want to leave space for me to tie this off. I'm excited for this trip. It's going to be fun. I'm going to give it a little touch of zap because I don't want it to move. So because of the colors that I'm using, I'm going to use some olive thread, but you can use any color thread. And I think that I find it so funny how crazy some people get about patterns, colors. You know, I have caught fish on, I can't even imagine a color I haven't caught fish on. So use your imagination, go out and have a good time. You know, I think it's neat to have a bunch of different flies ready to go, and if we're catching a bunch of fish, I might throw something on that's pink or orange or whatever, you know. I've had brown trout eat pinks, yellows. I think brown trout love yellows. So for this one, I got this obviously very used pheasant tail. And I'm going to go ahead and just pull it a nice generous clump for the tail. Something about like that. And even them up as best I can. I'm not too worried about trimming off the back end because I'm not going to use very much. I do not like super long tails. So I'm going to, not even a hook length, no way. Maybe half a hook. But I do like to put it on a little bit long, give it a couple wraps, look at it. I like that actually. And then on this fly, I like to give it one wrap under. It's another thing I don't think a lot of people like to do. Now I'm going to work the remaining up to about where my lead starts. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Now I'm going to put on a piece of very small, this is small, gold wire. And where'd the end go? There you are. So you can either ring this off, or I'm a little bit lazy, so I have my little wire cutters here. But I do not use my scissor when I cut wire. not good for the scissors. I'm going to go ahead and attach a piece of wire to the fly. Just like that. And now I'm gonna get, man, I'm running out of quill, I'm running out of Huerel. But I'm gonna get a couple of pieces of Huerel off this peacock tail feather. And I'm gonna cut the end off because I want to use that really nice fluffy fat portion. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the hook. Couple of wraps. Bring my thread back to where the tail starts. And I'm so excited to go fishing with my brother-in-law. He's one of my more fun fishing partners. I mean, I like fishing with everybody, but he and I have a good time, and we have not fished so much this year. So I'm gonna go in the same direction as my thread. I'm just gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna bring it probably a little bit longer than where the the lead began. But that's about where I want it. Right about there. So I'm gonna capture that. I can break that off. Now the wire, I go in the opposite direction, counter wrap. And this is just to reinforce the peacock. And I'm going to capture that. Once we have that all captured up, I ring it off so that it doesn't leave anything that could cut me or cut my fly or my fishing line in any way. Nice. So now I'm gonna take another clump of, oof, this is getting ugly. Another clump of pheasant, and this is gonna be my wing sac and my legs. It doesn't look so terrible, I guess. Might have to grab a new feather here pretty soon. Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe I just grab a new feather. All right, much better. So again, I'm gonna grab a pretty generous little clump and remove it from the stem. Want to make sure that my tips are more or less aligned, just like that. So I'm going to tie this in with the legs beyond the hook eye, about the length that I want. So once I fold these legs back, that's about the length that I'm looking for. And I'm going to tie them in couple of millimeters behind the eye. Now, again, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of comments that, oh, that's not the best way to do this. This is the way I like to do this. So I make sure that I like the placement and I bring it nice and tight. I'm going to bring this all the way back to where the peacock ends, keeping it nice and straight, because that's going to be my wing sac. So for my dubbing, I'm going to give it a little flash. I'm going to use this Sanio Fusion dub. Also, I know it's going to make some people nuts, but I love this stuff. You don't have to put any wax on if you don't want, but I'm going to put a little touch of wax on my line just to make it go a little bit easier. You don't need a lot of dubbing at all. I think it's going to be so much fun to see the comments later. I love when people get crazy. I just don't get it. You know, fly tying is fun. Fly fishing is fun. I don't understand how people can be so rigid and inflexible. Have fun. Go out there, try stuff. You know? I promise you that this little fly that I'm tying, I've caught fish on this. Fish like these colors. Fish like this combination. And it's gonna look super buggy when I'm done. Some fast moving water. This is gonna get seen and gobbled up. I think I want a little more. I think I want a little bit bigger thorax. Especially right in the middle there. All right. So now I end with my thread where my wing sac is going to come over. But before I bring my wing sac, I like to kind of divide my legs up and start pushing them into the right scenario here. Just like that. Bring my wing sac up. I've got my legs divided up. Sometimes they're not super easy to grab, but there it is. Just take your time. You're not in any rush. Put everything where it needs to be. Put everything where it needs to be, and then go ahead and lock it all in. Just like that. And now I look at it. Make sure I like it before I go any farther, which I do. I think that looks really good actually. Give it a few more wraps. Pull it up, get a couple wraps under. I got a couple more wraps on top. Cut off the wing sac. It's got the extra there, the tag. And now it's time for a whip finish. Super simple, super inexpensive. This little bug is gonna catch some fish. I'm gonna give it one little extra whip finish. I love it. That is a cool fly right there. So the only thing more I can do, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and get a little UV resin and put a little drop of UV on the wing sac here. So I'm gonna pause the video for a second. I will be right back, and we'll put a little UV on the wing sac here. Be right back. Okay, so welcome back. So let's go ahead and give this a little wing sac. You don't need very much resin at all. So take it nice and slow. That's plenty. Then I'm going to use my needle just to work it around a little. Work it back. Work it forward a little. And then when you're happy, and I think I'm happy now, you just get your lamp, making sure I'm happy. I love it. And we zap it. So, like I've said before, 5 to 10 seconds, but I'm in no rush. I'm not going anywhere. So I'm just gonna sit here for maybe 20 or 30 seconds. Make sure that this cures really good. And it's a great little fly right here. It's a buggy looking little fly. It's gonna catch a lot of fish. I like changing the angle. When I use my UV lamp, I change the angle and make sure that it cures really good. So there it is. What do I have that I can show you with? I guess I can show you with this. I don't know what. I'm not going to call this a pheasant tail nymph. People will go out of their minds. But it's a cool little nymph, cool little bug that I promise you I have caught fish with. And hope you enjoy. I'm going to tie up a whole bunch more. I'm going to use lizard color Sanio dubbing. The one that I use for this one is emerald. I'm probably going to use all kind of crazy stuff. I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to have fun fishing these. And maybe I even post some pictures if I go fishing before I publish this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and see you on the next video.